an amazing crowd. I am so excited to be standing before you in our vibrant city, home of MacDill Air Force Base, with the First Lady of the United States, Dr. Jill Biden. Yes. Woo. As you all know, this great city has been built on strength and service. It houses thousands of our nation's bravest active duty military and our veterans. And it is an absolute privilege for me to be able to serve each and every one of them every day here in the city of Tampa. You know, as a Tampa police chief, my former role before the mayor, I was fortunate enough to work side by side with military members and veterans. And these men and women committed their lives to something greater than themselves. They showed bravery and integrity in every aspect of their duty. And their commitment to service deeply influenced my own work and my leadership as chief and mayor of this great city. But there is a stark contrast in leadership that we have witnessed in recent years. That's right. The previous administration showed time and again an inability to grasp or even respect the sacrifices made by our veterans and their families. And that is in sharp contrast to President Joe Biden's actions and words as the Commander-in-Chief. It speaks volumes what he has done for our veterans. His understanding of the military's sacrifice is personal. As you all know, his son served in the military and unfortunately came back with a disease that ultimately took his life. President Biden understands what our service members and their families go through, and he's making sure that they have the support they earned by expanding benefits for veterans, the largest gain in over 40 years. That's right. He's focused on making sure that our veterans can find jobs. He's prioritized their mental health. He is combating veteran suicide and homelessness. Joe Biden promised these things in 2020, and he has delivered. And you know what? Those are signs of true leadership. That's what Joe Biden is, a true leader. So when we all go to the polls this November, our choice will not only impact the lives of our veterans, it will impact the lives of all Americans. And I cannot underscore this enough. It is imperative for the democracy of our country that we re-elect President Joe Biden. Very good. Now it is my distinct honor to bring up our very own veteran and president of the Democratic Veterans Caucus of Florida, someone who dedicated his life serving this nation proudly, Mr. Danny Fuqua.
Somewhere. Oh, you got it.
Hello, Tampa. Hello, Tampa. And the surrounding areas. Hello, my name is Danny Fuqua, and it is a privilege to stand before you today, not just as a veteran, but as a proud Democrat committed to our community. For 29 years, I had the honor of serving our nation in uniform. Now, as a business owner and a state president, and now the president of the State Veterans Caucus, I continue to fight to make sure our veterans' voices are heard and respected by all levels of government. My small business in Daytona Beach helped reach their, my small business in Daytona Beach helped many families by reaching their goals and achieving home ownership. Now, as firsthand, I know how President Biden's policies have helped rejuvenate our economy and giving young families the opportunity that they desperately need to get back on their feet. This is the kind of leadership that we need to make a change in lives. See, I grew up in Edwards, Mississippi, where my dad and uncles, all veterans, were my first heroes as a kid. Watching the National Guard roll down through the towns of Edwards, Mississippi, seeing at first hand superheroes. And in my 29 years of service this country, I tend to develop a nick for supporting people who are genuine through those around, who are genuine people. And when I look at President Biden, when I look at a man who is genuine leader, he get it. President Biden, he gets it. The Bidens are a military family. They are one of us. He doesn't just see the uniform, he sees the person in it, the family behind it, and the dream above it. Now look, there's this other guy, Donald Trump. The one who couldn't even spare a piece of dignity for our disabled veteran. There's no one other choice for us in November. We need to make sure that we have a leader who has stood with us, President Biden, who understands the sacrifice because he felt them in his own family. We need President Joe Biden to be re-elected in November. By his side is an amazing partner in this journey. Dr. Jill Biden, a lifelong educator. Dr. Biden has dedicated herself not only to teaching, but to actively support military families. Thank you. Her initiative, Joining Forces, is a testament to her dedication to promoting wellness, education, and employment for service members, veterans, and their family. Please, welcome to the podium, First Lady, Dr. Jill Biden.
Thank you. Danny, like so many veterans across our country, you continue to serve your community long after your time in uniform. So thank you for your leadership of the Democratic Veterans Caucus of Florida and all that you do to lift up voices of veterans. And it's also great to be with my friend, Mayor Castor. Jane, from your time as the police chief and to today, you're making sure that Tampa is resilient for generations to come. And thank you for your many years of dedicated public service. And let me thank the members of the Florida legislature who are here, State Senator Rouson and Representatives Valdez and Keene. And we also have members of the Veterans Caucus of Omega Psi Phi. And I also want to thank Ione Townsend, who chairs the Hillsborough Democratic Executive Committee. So it's great to be back in Tampa. So I'm so glad to be here at Seminole Post 111. And so when Jane and I were on our way here, she told me this was the place to be. So let me say a special word of thanks to Commander David Toll for welcoming us. So I really appreciate all the work that the American Legion does to support veterans, military families, and this community. Four years ago, Joe went from being a military dad to commander-in-chief. It's a responsibility he stepped into with pride. Because as Joe reminds everyone any chance he gets, our U.S. military is the finest fighting force in the history of the world. Of all the obligations that Joe has shouldered since he took the oath of office, he believes that the only truly sacred obligation is to prepare those we send into harm's way and to care for them and their families when they return. Anyone can tell you what they want to do, but Joe Biden can tell you what he's done. For our military and their families, he signed the first and only executive order to make sure that military spouses can build their careers, the ones that they want for themselves. He's lowered the cost of child care and mental health services. He ended the war in Afghanistan because the sacrifice asked of our military families was too steep for too long. Then, for our veterans, he expanded access to IVF and maternity care. He signed the PACT Act to give veterans the benefits that they've earned. And he's working to end veteran suicide by expanding counseling programs and launching 988. As Commander-in-Chief, President Biden wakes up every morning ready to work for you. And that's what this election is all about, you. For all the talk out there about this race, Joe has made it clear that he's all in. Thank you. That's the decision that he's made. And just as always, as he has supported my career, I'm all in too. And I know you're in or you wouldn't be here today. You're all in, thank you. And with 4 more years, Joe will continue to fight for you, the military community that we are humbled and proud to call our own. My dad served in World War II as a Navy signalman. And in 2003, our son, Bo, joined the Delaware Army National Guard and served for a year in Iraq. This is personal to us. We know what it's like to wait on the other end of that lagging phone call from across the world, to smile through another holiday with an empty chair at the table. Let me ask you this. Does Donald Trump know what any of that is about? He disparages those who sacrifice for our country. His own chief of staff said he called POWs and those who died in war losers and suckers. Said he didn't want to be seen with injured veterans because it didn't look good for him. It's disgraceful. But it's not surprising. Donald Trump wakes up every morning thinking about one person and one person only, himself. We know what Donald Trump was like as commander-in-chief. Good job. He dismissed the military community and diminished America's leadership around the world. And it could be worse this time. He says he wants to become a dictator on day one. He called the January 6th insurrectionists great patriots. And last week, the Supreme Court ruled that there are virtually no limits on what a president can do. Our democracy cannot withstand a Trump presidency with virtually no limits. Service members honor their oath to support and defend the Constitution. We cannot trust Donald Trump to do the same. The military community deserves better. You deserve a commander-in-chief who serves with integrity and wisdom and character. And that's my husband, Joe Biden. I want you to remember what it felt like on that morning after the 2016 election when we fell short. Remember that feeling about how you woke up and you said to yourself, "Oh my God, what just happened? We can't let that happen again." I don't want to wake up with that feeling like, oh, we should have started earlier, or we should have given more money, or we should have voted. No, we can't take anything for granted. We have to meet this moment as if our freedoms are at risk, because they are. As if our democracy is on the line, because it is. Today we are launching Veterans and Military Families for Biden, because we need you in this election. Thank you. Talk to your families about what's at stake. Sign up for phone banks and canvassing shifts, and help us make sure that everyone in this community has the ballots they need to vote, no matter where they are stationed. Together, we are going to win this, and we will build an America that can live up to the service and sacrifice that you all make. Thank you so much. Thank you, Tampa. Thank you, Tampa.